All right. Welcome to another episode of, what is it called again? Oh, yeah.
What is this show called again that we do?
I mean, I just recorded last night the Rocky
podcast. The Rocky, right.
Like literally not even 12 hours ago. All right. Let's try that again. Welcome to another episode of It's a Long Road, the Rambo series podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me today, of course, is Dominick. Dom, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, Ryan. How's everything with you?
Well, things are pretty busy. If you're listening to this, of course, well, wherever you're listening, you're going to wonder why there was a delay between episode releases, or maybe there'll be a couple episodes like near back-to-back instead of the 2-week pause, because I am moving across the country in Canada. I'm in the Navy/military, and I've got a new posting in Ottawa City. I'm from a city called Victoria, so for you Americans, it'd be like traveling from Seattle to New York.
Okay.
That perspective. Okay.
Gotcha.
So my family and I drove across the country. Yeah, it's a pretty far drive. It's like 5,500 kilometers. That's something like, I don't know, 4,000-ish miles. I don't know what off the top of my head. But like I said, Seattle to New York type distance of driving. So right now I'm in a cottage by a lake, Airbnb, and still recording as best I can. And we're moving to our new house at the time of this recording in 5 or 6 days. So things are still a bit in flux. So I'll just ask everyone to be patient as we still record and do the show, but the schedule might be off for next.
That's the dedication you have. You're on the road and you're recording.
Well, yeah, speaking of on the road, I have this microphone set up. You can't see it right here. I got the T-shirt. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see it, but I'll explain it for our audio listeners.
I saw your pictures, yes.
That says Hope, British Columbia, home of Rambo. So on our trip across Canada, of course, our first stop, because I live pretty close to Hope, British Columbia, where I'm from originally, I made my first stop to see the Rambo wooden statue that's carved out of a chainsaw, which is pretty amazing.
And they had a Brian Dennehy statue, right? Too.
They do. They have a Sheriff Will Teasel statue. It's fantastic. So, of course, I talked to Teasel first, and maybe what I'll do is I'll put that video on now. I'll edit that video into this video for the YouTube audience to see my visit with Teasel and Rambo when I went to Hope, British Columbia. Cool. Hey, dude, you got anywhere I could eat? I'm looking for a place to eat. Yeah? All right. He doesn't like my kind around here. He doesn't like my haircut. All right. Well, let's go ask this gentleman over here if he knows of any good places to eat. It's a beautiful day today in Hope. It's beautiful. And, yeah. Oh, okay. Let's ask this gentleman. Hey, dude, you got any place we could eat? Pretty cool, eh? Anyways, I'm gonna take some photos of this. Yeah, this is where it all happened. Rambo, First Blood. It was neat to see, a couple, just the downtown. You totally got a feel of what it was like. What I call it downtown.
Is that the first time you went? Is the first time you went to the location?
To the location, definitely to the statue, to the Rambo wooden statue. It's fairly new. I've been to Hope before as a kid and a couple times. I'm from the province of British Columbia, so I've been there a couple times. I've driven through it a couple times, but this is the first real time that I went there specifically with the idea that I'm here to see Rambo stuff. And cool. I talked to I think it's the wife of Brian McKinney. He runs the Hope Tourism, the Rambo Tourism group there. Unfortunately, he was away in Europe. I missed him by like 3 days. Course. I think he was in Europe looking at the specialist filming locations.
Oh, really?
No, wow. That's a joke. This is where they filmed that classic scene between Antonio
Banderas.
No.
That's a movie I haven't watched in a while.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, that's for sure. Oh, no, sorry, I was thinking of Assassins. So that's
Assassins. I knew what you were talking about, and I'm saying it, yeah. Specialist is Eric Roberts.
Specialist Assassins, same thing. Like, come on, let's be serious here. But yeah, so I'll share those pictures and the video with I'll intertwine that into here. So if you're listening to this, of course, on the audio feed, you'll hear me talk and you'll hear me say, "Hey, I want a place to eat," and that's me talking to the statue of Sheriff Teasel. And then
no statue of Troutman, huh?
No Troutman statue.
What the hell is that about?
Well, they knew about his murderous ways. They didn't want to give him a statue. Last episode, we kind of took to task the Salty Nerd podcast, and I tagged them on Twitter. Well, here's the thing. They wanted a link to the episode when it was up. Okay. So in the YouTube comments, I said, hey, it's up. I gave them the link, and then I even tagged them on our Twitter that the episode was up. And my friend, no response from the Salty Nerd podcast. What's your thoughts on that?
Maybe an angry letter coming.
Well, no response can mean three things. One, they didn't see it. They haven't watched it. Like none of the four people watched it, which I find odd because I think anyone would watch anything if somebody critiqued you. I think that's an odd because they're not the biggest podcast. So like if somebody took us to task, I would definitely watch it. I'd have to see what it is that they're. Yeah,
I'd be sharpening my arrows as I watched it.
Well, sure. And the second reason why we didn't get a response is maybe they were like, whatever, not even a hey, cool that you plugged our show or nothing. Which I think is odd. And I think the most likely reason we didn't get a response is because I think we did a good job. And there's really not much to say. And we were complimentary of a couple of the hosts. There was a couple that, there were a couple of comments, and that's their right to have their opinions and our right to kind of prove how they're wrong. Anyways, we don't have any new podcasts today because, of course, I was traveling across country. I didn't get a chance to really look around YouTube and what have you to find another podcast that talks about Rambo that we can, again, not to put to task, but just to see. We're policing, like the Burma police.
You have to. We're basically Brian Dennehy telling them to move along.
That's right. We like our small little podcast. It's not much, but we like it. We like to keep it boring. We like it that way. We have to make sure all the other podcasts about Rambo are boring as well. Dom, however, we do have a segment, of course, regarding our friend Frank Stallone and
yes,
what Frank Stallone has been up to this week. Now, the producers of our podcast have asked us to change the title of the episode or of the segment. Originally, I think it was called This Week with Frank Stallone or something like that.
Right.
So the producers of the show got a hold of us and said, look, we would like to change the angle a little bit if you don't mind. So they called Sly. Our producers were kind enough to call Sly.
They got in touch with him. Good.
Our people talked to his people. So Sly did another intro regarding the segment. Very quick intro.
Great.
So it's episode 2 of the Frank Stallone show, but there's a new title.
And here's another segment of Frank Stallone. Who is this guy?
All right. So the new segment is called Frank Stallone. Who is this guy? Okay. So now this first one here, I want you to look at, folks, and for our audio listeners. We have Frank who posted a picture of his great grandfather, I believe, who served in World War I. His uncle Danny also served. And my father, he says, in World War II, and the millions who gave their lives for our freedom. So I guess this is around Memorial Day weekend for you. Is it called that for you guys?
Memorial Day.
Yeah. The billions that we know. See, this is what we love. This is what we love about Frank. This is why we come to Frank. So Frank starts off, offering his love and support of the troops for sacrifices made by people in his family and people around the world, of course, many soldiers and veterans. Then he goes on to the billions regarding, I thought when he said the billions, when I was reading this, he was talking about people, but now we're getting to money, okay? So the billions that we waste on countries and programs should be spent on veterans instead of putting them in the streets and giving illegal aliens hotel rooms.
Oh, Frank. That was a fast change right there. That turned quick.
That shouldn't even be in our country. That contributed nothing.
Oh, it's great. I like the way it starts out all heartfelt about his family members. Then he just goes on a tirade.
Hey, Frank, may I ask who cleans your house? In your brother's house? Let's be serious here. Now, of course, some of the comments are funny. Now, there's a theme coming here. I want to point this out. Okay. Jacob here in the comments says, "Who is this guy?" And they got 53 likes. Okay, look at that. Who is this guy? Now, keep that in mind. So, who is this guy? You ready? Okay, so that's one of the comments, but it's not the last time we'll see that comment.
Keep going, Frank.
Okay. So for our listeners, of course, Frank is doing an exercise at the gym. His back's across the bench, and he's got this weight that he's holding above his head with his two arms, and he's pulling it down behind his head, lifting it back up again. Okay, so that's the grunting you're kind of hearing, and the cameraman is giving him encouragement.
Frank the Tank.
Call it Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank, yeah.
You got to keep your ass down. You can't lift with your butt.
So he's done about 4, 5, or 6. Now, I guarantee you, this isn't rep 50, right? The video started, and he started. He's wearing a hoodie. He's got yellow shades on.
Yellow glasses? Sort. Yeah, some kind of yellow Elton John-like glasses.
He's going very red in the face here. He's working hard. Good for him. I mean, 70-something. Good for him.
Here we are finishing out our Monday workout. Irish Pride. The Irish Pub in Atlantic City. Great friends of mine. Great place to go. We just had a good workout. We did chest today. Those lat pullovers we do are really good. You got to keep your butt down and just pull. It really opens up your rib cage. It's good to do. And remember, tune in this Wednesday for the Family Stallone, and you will see me in action with Big Brother in Atlantic City. We hope to see you. God bless. And this is X-Ray Man coming at you.
Okay, so he mentions he points to the yellow glasses that we pointed out. He calls himself X-Ray Man. Now, Frank, I don't think you should be saying you're X-Ray Man when you're going to the gym with other, females walking around with their, So that's fine. It's a harmless video, but you'll notice in that video, Dom, did you notice in that video that the comments were gone?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to find out later in this video why the comments are gone. But you'll look under this video right here, under a couple of the threads here, we got somebody that says here, who is this guy? Okay.
I think I know the origin of this, but
I started to dig in deep what the origin might be, but I didn't have time. I apologize. Okay, so let's listen to Frank now.
Go Phillies. Well, it's Tuesday. Goals. Just finished a leg workout. It's taken a while to build these legs back up, but it'll come. It's very slow to build calves and everything back up, but feeling really good. Tomorrow, streaming Family Stallone. You will see me in concert and some really funny stuff. And remember, it's on Paramount Plus, MTV, or CMT. So it's not like a regular scheduled show. So after 12 o'clock tonight, if it's 12:15, you can go to Paramount Plus or any of those stations I mentioned and watch the show. So it's not like...
So Frank, bless his heart, he's explaining how streaming works.
I want just a whole course of videos on YouTube with him explaining streaming and streaming networks.
And I love how he says it comes on at midnight. Basically, the streaming service releases at midnight. Now, Frank, is that New York time, LA time, UK time? But in Frank's world, it's wherever Frank is, midnight his time. That's
the priority.
Yeah. Speaking of the Family Stone, have you been keeping up with the episodes?
I missed a couple, I think.
Oh, dude, you got to catch up. Well, if you want to be a co-host of the Rambo podcast,
I didn't see the Frank Stallone one. I definitely didn't see the Frank.
Episode 5 is another starring Frank Stallone. This is why he's really I'm telling you, this isn't the only video where he's plugging the Family Stallone. He's plugging it heavy this week because it was a Frank-centric episode. Oh, basically, it was him at Atlantic City at the concert.
I almost went to that. Side note. Me and my brother almost went to that, and we weren't able to go. Somebody I knew had tickets. I regret every day of my life now that I didn't go.
You should regret. That is horrible. That's poor life choices. You were so close to going to see Frank live. I would love to hear that. They do show a couple clips of the concert. He, of course, slides there to present Frank at the Hard Rock in Atlantic City.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Classic episodes. Family Stallone, guys. I agree with Frank. You got to watch it midnight. You can watch it anytime after midnight.
Anytime after midnight. It's worldwide midnight.
You have to watch it at 7 at night. You can watch it anytime you want. And if you haven't watched the other 3 shows, you can catch up with the new stuff. And it's getting better every day. And I'm feeling really good. Listen, I apologize. I posted something.
So he's just talking about the Family Stallone. He says, I'm feeling really good. Now he's about to get angry.
Do you notice when he records, he tries to pick the noisiest place he possibly can?
It is so weird. Like Frankster. Come on, X-Ray Man, pick better places here.
Yesterday of me and Alex doing pullovers, and all these jerks came out of nowhere saying, "Who's this guy?" Really negative, nasty stuff. I don't know how it happened, but these guys, do me a favor, get lost. Don't bother. I'm not bothering you. I'm just working out in the gym. I don't need your snide remarks. You stupid, unintelligent morons. Okay, so just go away from my site, and if it keeps up, I'll just make it where no one can make a comment. But listen, I wish you all a great day. Peace, joy, be safe, be happy, be healthy.
I wish you all a good day. Joy, peace, be happy, as I just called you all unintelligent morons.
I like the way he threatened everybody, and then he filled it up. Then his comeback after that was wishing everybody peace.
Yeah, I wish everybody peace. Again, who is this guy? Now look at the next video that comes up. Half the comments are, who is this guy? Who is this guy? So can people from the Instagram community that follow Frank Stallone tell me what is going on here? Now, the video what he talked about. So he talked about how he posted the video of the arm workout and the comments were gone. He took the comments down. So on that video, he did mention that the comments were taken away because of these unintelligent morons that were commenting with, who is this guy?
Right.
Do you have a theory of where this is coming from?
I know where this is coming from. I'm trying right now to look up the post, because I didn't even know until you brought it to my attention what was going on. Frank Stallone commented on a comedian's Instagram saying, "Who is this guy?" And now it seems like what's happening is all the fans. I'm forgetting his name. It's a well-known comedian. I'm trying to look it up because I follow him on Instagram. Tom Segura.
Oh, real? Oh, Tom Segura. I don't know his stuff, but I know he's a big comedian. Isn't he big time?
Right. Yeah, he's big time. Tom Segura about maybe 2 weeks ago, and I forgot. I took a picture of this with the intention to send it to you, and I completely forgot. Here we go. If you go on Tom Segura's Instagram, I'm looking at it right now. On May 29th, Tom Segura shared a picture of his comments because he put up a picture of his father or something, and he said, "My dad hated facial hair," and whatever the hell. Frank Stallone commented, "Who is this guy?" And then Tom Segura replied to him and said, "The guy whose page you're commenting on, ? And then I guess it's just all his fans. What I'm guessing that his fans.
That makes sense.
This.
That's what they're doing. They're trolling them. They're saying you came to we're fans of this comedian. Who are you?
Right.
It's basically they're quoting Rambo from Rambo Part 4. Who are you?
Right. But I don't know the context of why Frank Stallone commented on his thing and said, "Who is this guy?"
So Frank was trolling Tom.
I guess so.
Or was he legitimately confused? But that doesn't make sense. You can go on anyone's Instagram to say, "Who are you?" There's 6 billion people in the world. I don't know any of them, right?
I don't know. Maybe somebody sent him the post and he responded, being an older guy. Maybe he responded like that, thinking he was responding to his friend or something. I don't know.
Oh, that is hilarious. Well, I appreciate that's great insight. So, okay. He's at a crossroads here. So he did delete that one thread, but he can't keep that up because if he doesn't have interaction with his fans,
he dies.
Yeah, he did. Frank, we can't have Frank die. Frank, we need you. You're getting Frank coverage on this podcast. I mean, is there another podcast in the world that does Frank Stallone coverage?
I could guess nobody.
Okay. So Frank, don't delete your comments. Here's the next video. Okay, thank you for that background, Dom. That's perfect.
No, it was perfect because that's why I was laughing so hard because I was realizing as you shared it that this had to be this guy's fans.
That's awesome. And you've only known that because you were a fan of Tom. So that's the only reason why you know that. That's crazy. Right. Oh, wow. There's a reason why I picked you for my co-host. Now I know why.
There we go. It all came together.
It does. Now I can fire you and find somebody else.
Well, it is Thursday. Had a great tricep workout today. We prefer the French press. Myself, I think it's your triceps thicker. Pull downs. There's some exercises that other people use I can't use. Pulleys do nothing for me. The only thing with pulley like are tricep pull downs. But anyway, I'm happy you all liked the show yesterday. I would have liked to see myself in concert longer, but that's the ego in me.
They showed the Atlantic show, and he was in it very briefly, but
okay.
Frank, it's a 22-minute reality show about Sly and his family. And here's Frank bitching and moaning that The fact that he even got 1 million plus more eyes on him for just 5 seconds is about as good as a plug as you're ever going to get. You get a better plug from Paramount Plus than your hair. I'll tell you that right now. Okay.
Yet again, the noisiest room ever. Talking in front of the noisiest room.
Does he tell camera guy, like, did you find anywhere noisy that we can go to?
A lunchroom in a school.
My wife is looking at me like, what do you guys talk about? Honey, this is a podcast. This is a very important business. Sorry, if you hear my family and stuff, it's because we're all in a shared living space right now.
I thought the girls were great. I thought my brother was very funny. And no, I did not buy the Komodo dragon, but it was really a giant monitor lizard. They're cute until they grab onto you and their nails like rip through your flesh. Not being mean, but that's, they're climbers. They're tree-bearing animals and they're beautiful. The python was literally 350 pounds. And I think it took a shit of 100 pounds. So, and the tarantula, you saw how excited my nieces were about having a tarantula put on them.
So you really do have to watch episodes 4 and 5.
I definitely am.
He talked about in I think it was episode 5, he mentioned that he was upset that the daughters didn't ask him to come on their podcast to plug his documentary. Frank Stallone, that is. Remember that documentary that came out?
Right.
We talked about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually brought that up, that he was sour about that.
Oh, really?
And the girls didn't want him on the podcast because he's a bit of a loose cannon. Go figure.
What gave that away, that he's a bit of a loose cannon?
Now, I did some digging here between my last episode recording with the Rocky Show. We talked about this, about the divorce. Now, it turns out that they were separated during the showing of the series, but they went back and kind of reshot and re-edited things to eliminate that part of their life.
Okay, so they just didn't go into it in the show.
It's not going to be brought up at all. Because they showed Frank Stallone's concert was September 2nd, 2022. Jennifer asked for divorce in August. So they showed scenes of Sly at the concert with Frank, which would kind of make sense that maybe he's just not with his wife during this time, like physically next to her, that he's at a Frank show. During that time at the Frank concert that Sly was at, Jennifer had already asked for a divorce a few weeks previous. Now, it was a short separation. I think it was maybe 2 months long, a month, 2 months, and then they reconciled. So they are just eliminating the whole – it's not even going to be brought up. They reshot and re-edited things to work around it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess they can't show him getting that tattoo cover up, right? That he got.
Right. They're not, I know. He covered, for those who don't know, he covered Jennifer's face with the dog's. Now, he owns the dog too at this time, but they're not showing the dog at all yet either. They're only showing the little one, not the big one.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the tarantula, I hate those things. But anyway, everything is good. We're getting back. Cut my hair. You know what? I saw my hair, and it's just these gray things coming out. It looked like when you see a bald guy, and he's got these hair sticking out. And, when he takes his hat off, he's going to look like Gallagher, So,
wow. Gallagher, the comedian. Rest in peace.
The watermelon smashing comedian.
Yeah. Now, he's talking about his hair. He's mentioned how I don't have a bald head. When I take off my bald cap, you can see my hair.
Bald guy.
Let's be honest. Frank and Sly, that's not their natural hair on top. Those are plugs.
He's got the hairline of a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Especially Sly.
Don't talk about your hair like it's yours, Frank.
Right. Don't attack the bald community. As a bald community member, don't attack the bald community.
And as a bald Italian.
Exactly.
So you're proof, Dom, I hate to say it, but you're proof that Italians can go bald, right?
Yes. A lot of Italians are bald, I know.
But not the Stallones.
No, yeah, they got the great hairlines.
I had my hair all trimmed. It's easier to take care of. And everything's good. So I wish you all a happy day. And the Frankster signing out.
So the Frankster signing out. Okay. One more video here, and look at his hair. It's a little bit unkempt here. I don't know if this is like the same day or shortly thereafter, but his hair is getting a little wild on the side there.
Yours truly, Frankster. It's on a Monday. We had a really good workout today. We did chest and back. I talked too much over the weekend, so I'm a little hoarse. But anyway, back's hurting a little bit, but that's okay. We're back to building back up, and every day is a new day in life. You can make it what you want to make. We want to appreciate all the people who have been watching the family Stallone. And we're up to 100 Rotten Tomatoes, which is great.
So he says they're up to 100 Rotten Tomatoes. Frank, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works, Frank. We got 100 Rotten Tomatoes.
Congratulations, Frank, on your 100 Rotten Tomatoes for the family Stallone.
I like the way he's making this show about him. He's such a small part of the show.
Well, come on. This is the most Frank has been on any streaming service. He's making no bones about him riding the coattails of Sly. It's done. I'm 15 years from the grave. Which brings up a point. When you got guys like him at his age and stage in life, what's he working towards? He's got no kids, no spouse. Enjoy your couple $1 million you have to spend on. But this idea that he keeps trying to...
he's got his own line of guitars too, right?
Sure.
He does.
Now, he mentioned that his voice sounded hoarse because he's been talking too much, right? Look how he spelt the word horse in his write-up there.
Oh, as an actual animal.
As the animal, sounding hoarse. My brother dropped out of grade 9 like I did. We appreciate your viewership
today.
Yeah, he talks about his workout. Great workout. Yeah.
Found the noisiest room we possibly could.
Oh, Frank, we love you.
Wednesday will be a new show again on streaming. You don't have to wait till nighttime. After 12 o'clock at night on Tuesday going into Wednesday, you can start watching it. You can watch it at 12:30 at night. You can watch it 1 in the morning. You can watch it anytime you want. And speaking for the Stallone family, we want to thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you, Frank, for telling us when you can stream. You wait till midnight. You can watch it at 12:30 in the morning, Dom. You can watch it at 1:30 in the morning. You
don't have to wait till night, but you can watch it at midnight.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying anymore.
I got this one here. This was his latest one. It shows him on a mat, kind of like in a yoga type meditation sitting position. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So he says this. He goes, been home recovering. I'm sitting on I cut off the word there. It's a mat, PEMF. I Googled this, mat, and it is apparently good for pain in your back and what have you. It provides infrared heat, and he says here he's got 30 pounds of energy center alignment crystals. He got sick again. He can't catch a break, he says.
He got sick again, huh?
Yeah, he got sick again. He doesn't say with what. He goes on to say here, I can't catch a break. As the old saying goes, a veteran is never at liberty. Okay. A veteran is never at liberty. Now, I'm in the military, and liberty just means time off. So he's saying a veteran doesn't ever have time off or a break, which isn't true. I get 25 annual days a year. Be happy you're alive. Don't sweat the small stuff. Everybody is a comeback. Okay. Now, what I love about this one is there's this lady underneath gives him big health advice on how to first she calls him out for using crystals. And then she says, just to pray to Jesus and your life will be okay. All right.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So there you go. That has been Tim in our chat says here, between 100 Rotten Tomatoes, streaming instructions, and available at 12 o'clock, the Frankster needs his own reality show. And him flying off the handle without warning. Could you imagine? Could you imagine a Frank Stallone reality show? Would you watch that, Dom?
I would watch that. I would actually crowdfund that. I would go fund me that. I would pay to see that.
I agree totally. And maybe it starts here. Maybe it's our podcast that gets us going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Battle with Tom Segura Tom Segura's fans. And that's the best part. I don't think he's aware of what's going on. Why
he deleted the comments from that one video.
The people that found him working out, they were yelling it at him in person, right? Because that's what he was saying.
Who is this guy? I love it. Okay, we did get sort of and let me go back here. So we did sort of get an email. So Carl, he's a big fan of the show. He's actually one of our top fans. Definitely when it comes to the the YouTube page, he comments on the YouTube stuff, and he really enjoyed our breaking down of the Salty Nerd podcast. And he goes, "Hey Ryan, that Salty Nerd podcast was unbearable." And he did say as such, and it goes, as you'll see in my YouTube comments, haha. So yeah, in the YouTube comments, if you want to go to our YouTube channel, guys, It's a Long Road, the Rambo Series podcast, you'll see Carl's. What I love about the commenters is they can say things that maybe we don't
Right, exactly.
We try to be a little bit diplomatic when we do
They could go Frank Stallone on everybody.
That's right. Carl totally went Frank. He basically called out that one co-host of the show and just said that she was terrible. He maybe said what a lot of people were feeling, but we were trying to be diplomatic. Mm-hmm. But he goes to ask the question, hey, are you a fan of the podcast called Who Are These Podcasts? Because they review podcasts like you were doing. I've heard the host Carl of that podcast mention me by name a couple of times, and I wasn't sure if you were the same someone or somebody with your name. That's one of my other favorite podcasts. Anyways, so happy to see episode 3 on YouTube today. Been waiting for it, Carl. Now, yes, to answer his question, so yes, there is a great podcast. It's probably my favorite podcast. There's also Doug from the Rocky Minute. His favorite podcast is called Who Are These Podcasts? They don't need me to plug them because they're huge. They're quite big. Mm-hmm. We're small potatoes. I mean, they would see our numbers and laugh at our show. But what they do is they take the mick out of other shows. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. So I definitely borrowed that idea in a sense of like, oh yeah, why don't we do that for Rambo podcast? They got their idea though from Anthony Cumia and Opie and Anthony.
Okay.
Yeah, they used to do a radio show called Jocktober, and in October they would listen to other radio shows and tear them apart. So that's kind of what they did. So they borrowed from Opie and Anthony, and I borrowed a little bit for them. So yeah, absolutely, Carl, and I did respond with that. I wanted to be clear. So I responded with that, and he wrote back, what a small world. I've been listening since blah, blah. So he's been listening for a long time. What a small world. Cool. So he's kind of cool. One guy, he's a fan of one podcast. Here's my name on it because I have actually, the host of that podcast guested on one of my other podcasts called, yes, I'll plug it now. It's called The Worst of the Best Podcast. If you like what I do and you want to hear me talk about something that isn't Rambo or Rocky, check out my other podcast called The Worst of the Best Podcast. So Carl, the host of Who Are These Podcasts, he did a guest spot with me when we talked about Star Wars films. We do a variety of different subjects. He actually said, there's two Carls. Carl, the host of Who Are These Podcasts, and Carl with a C, who is a fan of our show. He goes, I've listened to a couple episodes of The Worst of the Best. I'll be sure to check out the episode with Carl. And he goes on to say that I'm in full agreement with you about Rambo 4, way too short, and the ending was so ridiculous. There should have been more 101 stealth Rambo. That's why I like Last Blood more. But I agree, the long hair was definitely missing from part 5. Keep up the good work, Carl. Okay, yeah.
Gotta have that long hair.
Yeah, speaking of which, Don, where's your long hair? What's going on?
I forgot it today. Just put it on halfway through the podcast. I'll put it on.
It shouldn't be just Frank that has fake hair on this podcast,
exactly.
Right? Okay, folks, you ready to go into I think we're going to get to the scene in this film where this movie is so depressing. Don't you find part 4 depressing?
Yeah, right from the beginning of the credits, it's just like, this is real.
Yeah, there's something about this film where it's just, I don't know. I guess it's supposed to be fun. That's what I liked about Rambo's 2 and 3 in particular. Of course, first, I'm just saying the short version of the titles here. Right. So Rambo, the second Rambo film, the third Rambo film, they're fun. Mm-hmm. They're brutal, but they can still be like intense, and there's like bodies exploding and stuff. But I never felt depressed watching those films.
This is depressing, this movie.
All right, so as we know now, Rambo has just shot those 5 pirates. And
they would have raped her and killed her. They would have cut your heads off.
So now we're going to the part of the film where Rambo is convinced to still drop them off at the rendezvous. I'll go rendezvous. Rendezvous. Nice, majestic, music, very calm. So there's other Quran people or Karen people there to greet them. The civilians to greet the missionaries, grab their stuff.
We'll be taking the overland route on the way back, so there's no need to wait around.
No, did you catch that?
Yeah, going back a separate way.
So basically they're saying when we're done our mission here, this is Michael. When we're done our mission here, we're going to take the overland route. We're going to walk back. We don't need to take the river.
So why'd they do this to him in the first place? Why did they ask him 35 times to ferry them across the water?
Well, to be fair, maybe the other 4 times they never knew there was a riverboat captain named Rambo. They only did the land route. They didn't mention that. They didn't say how they got up the river. They just said they'd been to that area 5 times before. Maybe there's a ferry guy.
He's essentially saying, like, we've had enough of you. We don't want to see you again.
Look at Rambo's face like, okay, do what you got to do.
Because you said, you could have been nice about it.
Could have been nice.
I have to report this. I know you think what you did was right, but taking a life is never right.
This guy. Okay. Who's he going to report it to?
Who's going to care?
What, the Arizona Police Department, where Rambo's from?
This guy with a really big head and a headband on killed a bunch of people that were going to kill us and rape my wife. Like,
it's insane. Exactly. Like, what would be the report? So Michael goes into whatever office, says, I'm here to issue a report of murder. Okay, how did this murder take place? Well, these 5 Burmese pirates literally told us we were going to rape and kill you. And this guy prevented it from happening. And I believe no life should be taken. So can I report this, please? They'd be like, the dude did you a favor. What do you... They probably say, do you have any cell phone footage of this? We'd love to watch this. You know, this is amazing. This is the guy that told on his classmates in class.
Right. I think he's just getting mad because he doesn't like all the attention she's getting from Rambo. That's what I think it is.
Carl mentioned that in our YouTube comments. That was one of his comments. He thinks that definitely Michael's jealous of Rambo.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be?
Who wouldn't be with that head and hair? So Sarah sticks around to talk to him. Now, does Rambo do a little bit of a duck face there? He's got a little bit of a duck face.
So. But I guess Stallone's lips are kind of like that, right? He must have got shots of collagen or something, right, in those lips.
I think he goes to the same place that his daughters go to for lip work. Yeah.
Well, you noticed it in even Rambo 3. You noticed he had some lip.
Yeah. Why would you do that, Dom? Why would you do that? I don't get it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what Sylvester Stallone sees in the mirror when he looks in the mirror, because he's got like a funhouse mirror or something. Same with Frank. I mean,
I think Frank's done a little less work on his face. He's done some, but it's a little less. But I don't know why.
Was like that too.
Oh, she was. I'm sorry, Frank and Sly. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry. Your mother became a disaster at the end there.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But
oof.
I always say she died at the age of 93, but her face died at the age of 12.
She started looking like something out of like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Honestly, towards the end, especially.
Do you remember that scene of RoboCop?
Yes.
The guy that comes out of the gooey stuff.
The melted, he's all melted. Yeah, that was essentially Jackie Stallone in the final days.
Oh my god, we're horrible. Oh no. I'm sorry.
I'll tell Frank Stallone about this. Stallone, Sylvester Stallone will never hear this, but there's a chance that Frank Stallone will.
Yes, Frank might listen. No, Frank might listen to our episode about him, but he isn't going to watch stuff about his brother. You know, so.
He's going to fast forward this part.
Yeah. Are they going to talk about me anymore after this, or is that done? Is the Frank portion done on the show?
I don't know what to say.
Then you shouldn't say anything, should you?
Ooh. Rambo was a big fan of collecting necklaces, I think, about this.
All the women he meets, like, he just has to take a necklace from them.
So she hands him her cross from her neck. I wore something like this before.
I gave it to somebody in Afghanistan, some annoying kid that wanted it.
So he gets the necklace from her. So the scene is just them walking away. Michael looks pissed. Now, what's Rambo thinking here? I like how they both kind of give eye contact to each other.
Yeah, they show a lot of interest in each other, honestly.
Yeah, what's that look for? Is that look for safety, like be safe, or is that more like get one last like mental image for the old bank?
Yeah, I think the women over there in Burma is a scarcity. You know, I think he's like, hey, there's a pretty girl here. You know, she just gave me her necklace. You know, he's like, and I think he's looking to do something more than help them.
Well, Rambo leads them to their mission. Shots here of the nature and the land. traveling and of contemplative Rambo on the boat. What's he thinking?
I'm kind of hungry.
This stuff must have been cut out because this is just back and forth. Rambo traveling down with the ferry boat, picturesque shots of the land. The missionaries traveling to their spot of missionary work. Again, the ferry boat traveling.
Just a lot of shots of Stallone just like on the boat looking out. Like how many times this guy in the Raiden from Mortal Kombat hat.
Yeah. Okay, so Rambo's pulled out his knife out of a secret little compartment in the ferry boat. Okay, he's holding on to it. Now the shot of the missionaries as they're walking kind of like Lord of the Rings style to their... They're going to the Claw Kabi Low Village. Okay, cool. All right, you got one of the missionaries filming this. Legit, documentary style, filming them coming to this village. So he commandeers... That's right. So he commandeers the pirate ship.
Other... Right.
So Rambo's taking the pirate boat, and he's going to basically get rid of the evidence of anything that went down here, okay? I guess the black and white images are what's in his mind. So anytime it cuts to the black and white images of flashbacks, this is kind of what's going through Rambo's mind. The PTSD has been reawoken in him, right? Now they come back again to the missionaries. The kids are all happy. Look, hey, it's white people. Hey. So they're showing the juxtaposition here of the missionaries arriving at the village for help and peace and love and all this stuff, and everyone's very excited. And now Rambo's dealing with it's kind of like they're doing something that's useless.
Mm-hmm. And he's getting rid of the evidence.
And he's getting rid of the evidence that's going to protect them to a degree, or at least prolong any kind of whatever. But he's actually doing something, though it's, he's burning bodies and the boat. He's actually doing something that's legit. This is actually a real thing that needs to get done. For people listening at home, we're getting interspersing him just dousing this boat in gasoline, and we're seeing the gasoline mix. He's very angry about
while he's doing it. Look,
well, yeah. Why is he so angry about the dumping of the gasoline?
Very strange.
You could argue he's just remembering war and death. I don't know. I guess because he's getting the flashbacks of he's getting the flashbacks of the killings that he just did. Remember that scene from 2 minutes ago when
remember the time I shot those 3 guys?
Oh, here it is again. So he stabs the fuel canister instead of just taking off the lid for some reason. But then he still uses the spout to dump. I'm very confused about what's going on here. And now he's angrily throwing again. Look at
he realized it was going to make too much of a mess.
So he throws the gas canister inside. The amount of fuel he dumped on there would have been a bit of a woof type, you know what I mean? It was a very controlled fire response to how much gasoline he dumped. But anyways. Oh, see that?
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone in our chat know? Is that from the original cut? Did he throw his knife in the fire in the original cut?
I don't even remember, honestly.
Yeah,
he did that.
A better podcast about Rambo would know this kind of stuff. We're too focused on Frank.
Next week, on the next episode, it's just going to be retitled the Frank Stallone podcast. Not even going to give anybody any warning. It's just going to be like, all right, so this week in Frank.
You remember Star Wars? Which one was it? The Last Jedi? Was that? No. Which is the one that everyone hates?
I mean, The Last Jedi, a lot of people. That's the one.
I loved it. It's my favorite one, by the way.
I honestly don't hate that movie. I don't.
I love it. Now, you remember when Luke
problems with it, but
sure, it's not a perfect film, but I loved it. You remember the scene where Luke throws the lightsaber over his shoulder?
Yes.
This is what Rambo's doing right here. That's his lightsaber. Basically. He's just like, whatever. He's just chucking his knife into the fire, saying, "I don't need this anymore."
Rambo did it first.
So why is he doing that, Dom? What's your thinking on why he threw that into the fire?
I don't know. Maybe he's making a decision to not kill anymore. And when we know he's not gonna keep that promise.
That's it. I'm not doing it no more. Well, there's a scene that comes up where he forges a new knife. I think it's coming very soon. I think he's like, that knife's not big enough. I got to make a machete. He's still angry, though. He's very angry.
Definitely angry.
There it is. All right, so he's destroyed the pirate ship. He's thrown away his knife. Now we're going to go to the village of the missionaries. See how they're doing over here. They're giving out packages of stuff, books and paper, pamphlets. Okay, so we're about to get to the scene that's probably the worst scene in movie history. I think this is like the hardest thing to watch. I'm gonna have a hard time watching this. I
thought this was the feel-good movie of the summer.
Maybe we should give some sort of disclaimer if you're watching this on YouTube. Stand by for murder.
Yeah. A lot of murder. I mean, if you just thought them showing the guys getting murdered 3 times in a row over and over again, that kind of got you ready for what you can experience now. But
so here they are in Sunday school, essentially. These are people that need food, weapons, and protection. But let's turn our scriptures open to this through his spirit in your inner being. Okay.
Spirit in your inner being. So Christ may dwell in your hearts with faith.
Why is he talking like that?
And I pray you may have power together with all.
Do they have scriptures in Burmese for them to read?
I doubt it.
Because he's talking to them in English, and they have a translator, and they'll have their books open. It's just gibberish, like
they're just staring at it. This is what they came there to do.
Yeah, they're doing it.
Let me see if I can fix this little problem, okay?
So they've got a spiritual leader. They've got a guy who's a bit of a medic. He's helping them out with injuries, and so we're getting an idea here. They've set up camp very quickly, and the Great White Hope has arrived. Essentially, they're helping this village here. Yeah. The arbitrary, missy limb actors that get called in for these shots.
Have one of those bandages? Okay. Good. Okay.
All right, so here we go. You ready?
I'm not ready. I'm honestly not ready.
I might just mute this. I don't know. Sly's directed this film. Okay, ready? No.
I'm gonna kill everybody.
I think it's better if we use real bullets, okay? I'll just mute it, of course.
Oh my god!
Sorry, his body parts. Look at the body. Just there's one there. There's a basically, folks. For those listening at home or not watching this on our YouTube, I should have done a disclaimer for violence. There's bodies flailing, blowing around, children puking as they get shot. Taking the kids and just literally killing them point blank. They're killing children point blank, stomping on heads, smushing in, saving bolts. So they're killing them with their weapons and good time. So what are your thoughts here, Don? What's your thought on this?
He didn't shy away. This is the thing with this movie, though. You go from Rambo 3, Rambo 2, fun action movies. And then this is too real. There's a guy on fire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're taking kids away. I think they sorry.
Oh, my God. Oh, no. It's like everything you could possibly imagine. Somebody's got to get thrown into a fire. Preferably a kid or a baby would be good. Jeez, even with the sound off, it's like.
So basically, folks, of course, everyone's getting blown to pieces. A few of the survivors will be Michael and Sarah. I think they're the only ones that survive this, I think, because Michael does survive it. Sarah survives it. They try to run away in the rice paddy fields, and they get blown away like shooting ducks in a barrel. The village is laid to waste. Now, why is the government doing this to this village? Is it because the missionaries are there? Is that why?
To show them, like, don't
yeah,
come
but
here.
those pirates were killed. Like, they wouldn't have been able to report back that they found these missionaries in the water. So was this just...
Yeah, maybe no different than what they do when they play that little mind game with the people every day. Maybe this is like, okay, we're going to go for the daily shooting up the village, and they happen to be there.
No children were harmed or burned alive during the filming of this. There should be some sort of disclaimer at the end there.
There's definitely additional footage that didn't make the theatrical cut in there. You know that. He had a baby getting stabbed or something in there that he was like, I really wanted that in the feature film. But
you know, the Rambo 3 where they're playing with the animal carcass, they had like horses playing with like baby carcasses being tossed around.
Basically.
So the next scene here after the destruction of that village and the missionary program being laid to waste. And that's basically what Rambo is trying to say. Of course, it's showing it verbatim, like, your message of peace doesn't do anything with these people. They don't care, you know?
Yeah. They should have learned right there never to come here again. I mean, with what they just saw.
No, Michael's coming back next summer. He's like, we can really make a difference next time. We can really make a difference next time.
Next summer's going to be different. New beginning.
So now we got Rambo contemplating what? I don't know. Maybe he knows he sent them to their death. He's holding on to the cross now, wearing some sort of burlap sack for a jacket. He's fiddling with the cross, thinking about Sarah.
Maybe you've lost your faith in people, but you must still be faithful to something. Still care about something.
She was saying you...
Basically, maybe there's something you still have faith in.
Oh. What would he have faith in at this point? What would he have faith in?
I don't know. I don't think he's got nothing. He's got nothing left, you know? What does Rambo believe in anymore? After all the death he's seen over the years.
Look at that face there. What's been done to his face here?
Definitely something with the lips. Because they're really coming out.
Yeah, he even looks different now. It's crazy. I don't think he's doing HGH anymore. I don't think.
Do you think, as you know, now Stallone's up there, do you think he's going to be comparable to what his mother looked like in a few years?
That's the fear I have. I'm hoping, I hate to say this, that Jennifer knocks some sense into him, saying, Sly, stop.
Stop, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that where it's like he's scary to look at. That's what I'm afraid of.
Stop or you'll look like my mom. Or yeah, stop or you'll sorry, stop or you'll look like your mom.
I got that reference.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. It was funny, but I screwed up my own joke. Okay. Unit. So this must be the Burmese unit, military unit. Yeah. That's right. Look how happy the Burmese soldiers are. We just kill the whole village of people.
They worked up an appetite after slaughtering 1,000 people.
Does work up an appetite. Yeah. That's a lot of killing. But they're just talking like it's another day at the office, you know. They just dumped a whole bunch of food on these. I assume these are newly captive people, are they? But even the rice from their trays, that's not too bad. This came right from their plates. Like, that's not too bad.
It's not the worst treatment I've seen, prisoners of war have.
They couldn't finish their rice meal, and they chucked it on them. And
they look like they've been there for a while, these two, though.
When Rambo was in Vietnamese prison camp, he got literal human feces thrown at him.
They literally cut him open.
But they're getting rice right from their plates. That's not bad.
I guess you can't complain if you get real food.
So they're showing, I guess these are the captured civilians from the village, I guess, the ones that didn't get blown away. These are the lucky few, maybe, so to speak.
Lucky, I don't know.
I know.
I don't know if they're lucky.
I guess they're seeing who could be future soldiers, maybe? That's probably what it is. I know that's what a lot of these countries do this sort of thing that have these civil wars going on. I know a lot of African countries do this. They'll literally come into a village, kill a lot of the adults almost, and then they take the kids and raise them to be the future soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Now we see Sarah in she's got her own room in prison. She's hanging out with the hogs. Flying. And she's rightfully terrified. She's seen a lot today. This has been a long day for her.
Oh, God. This will change a person, what she went through.
So this is what I'm getting at, Dom, is we're seeing this prison camp. And correct me if I'm wrong, Rambo kills this main leader dude here that we're seeing, the enemy leader guy, not even in his camp. It's like mid-run or something. Like he just runs away from Rambo and he catches up to him and kills him, skewers him. They should have had Rambo, like Carl agrees with me on this. I think a few others might. That they should have had Rambo come into this camp and lay it to waste, lay every soldier to waste.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like one by one, hunt them like a predator, like he did before. Don't lay down. Don't lay down. Like, fight them hard. Like you did before.
Gotta fight this Vermont.
Oh wait, I think I'm getting the two franchises mixed up. Okay, I'm doing too many podcasts about Rambo and Rocky. Well, they're very proud about their capture. So a few of the missionaries did survive. A few of them did. Okay. So he says, bring that one out to the pig. One dude's going to get eaten alive by the pigs.
Jeez, this podcast, they went from fun Frank Stallone stuff to people getting eaten by pigs. This episode turned dark.
Maybe we should start with the Rambo and end with the Frank. I don't know. This is a great little sequence here. We get some flashback dreaming. So I think Rambo's asleep. I think we're seeing his dreams, his thoughts here. We're going to get kind of a fun montage of the Rambo character coming up here.
What am I? You made me this way.
A full-blooded combat soldier.
That line, what am I? You made me this way. That's new dialogue. This flashback sequence or dream-like hysteria sequence that is in Rambo's brain that he probably dreams about all the time. This is what he lives with. I think we're led to believe this is what Rambo lives with in his brain. You know, you made me to this. That was new dialogue that Sly would have recorded as the Rambo character. Then it segues or interplays with dialogue from the films that's already been recorded.
Right.
So, okay.
Just don't turn it off.
Talk to me, Johnny. It's over. Nothing is over. I'm gonna come full circle.
Aren't you curious to see how things might have changed back home?
Enough, damn it. You're always gonna be tearing away at yourself until you come to terms with what you are. Until you come full circle.
So you're just gonna stay here forever?
John Rambo.
Again, come to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, because the captions are on. You can hear the dialogue. It's kind of hard to hear. You can read it. What's going on here is we're getting the theme of home. And I think that's missed maybe when you watch this without the captions. Because she says, isn't there anything you want to go home to? And the Troutman is saying, you're never going to be at peace till you come to terms with who you are with Full Circle. Were you with me on the Full Circle episode? Was that you?
No, I don't
can't
think
remember.
so.
Okay. The Rambo 3 episode, of course, or season 3, we talked about how Troutman did mention to Rambo, to come full circle. And which didn't make sense because full circle would just mean to come back to exactly the way he is now. He has to come.
Right.
He has to go half circle. Yes, because we talked about in that episode that Troutman was basically telling Rambo, "There's nothing we can do for you. You are a killing machine." And this is why I think Troutman might be the villain of the series.
Definitely, Troutman's a psychopath.
Because he created
was like a science experiment for him.
Yeah, he's right.
Like,
he did create
see
Rambo.
how I can make a Frankenstein.
Exactly. He created the monster. He's Dr. Frankenstein. Absolutely. Anyways, then we have the images of Sarah saying, don't you want to go home? There's a better life out there. So Rambo's at odds now we're starting to see this. He has to make peace with himself. And then you hear the dream like sequence, John, but it's actually somebody knocking at his door. You ever do that when you wake up to voices outside your dreams? Yeah. Tim brought up, wouldn't it be a great Sly film without a flashback montage? Yeah, it is a well-done scene. I agree, Tim. Yep.
This reminds me a little bit, actually, of the fast cut montage towards the end of, like, Rocky V, when he's knocked out, and like he sees Mickey and stuff like that. And it reminded me a little bit of that, actually.
You could almost throw it after right at the end of this part where Rambo's looking up. You could throw in, "Get up, you son of a bitch!"
Exactly.
Yeah. Wake up, you son of a bitch!
Because Troutman loves you.
Because Troutman loves you. Because Troutman loves you. All right,
John Rambo.
I do like his sleep type of shirt. It's nice.
Yeah. I'll invest in one of those.
My name is Arthur March, pastor of the Christ Church of Colorado.
That must be of course, the Michael and Sarah Church. The Christ Church of Colorado is what he called it?
Mm-hmm.
I need to talk with you. It's very important. I wouldn't come here like this if it wasn't.
How did he get there so fast? How much time has passed?
Really? Like, I don't understand why. They're so dedicated. This guy comes there, too.
We're going to find out why he's there, because he heard something went wrong, but there should be some indication of time. Like, we're thinking it's the next night, but dude's already here. Like, yeah.
It's got to be, I think, like maybe a week or something.
Week or two, yeah.
The morning of the day.
Yeah, this is the morning of the day the group left, yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Time has passed, but yeah.
The group left. Michael Burnett notified me that they were traveling from this location.
How would he say we're traveling from I guess just literally give the GPS coordinates, maybe?
I guess, yeah. Well, maybe that's when he put his report in.
Oh, yeah. He reported
on the people that Rambo killed, too.
He probably... No, because he gave it the morning they left. It was before the attack.
It was before the attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened? No one knows exactly. They were supposed to return 10 days ago.
Oh,
but
10
they
days
never
ago.
came back.
Okay.
Okay, so they were supposed to return 10 days ago. So it's been 10 days since they were supposed to return. So he's already basically, once they didn't return, he basically said, I got to go over to Burma. Like, he didn't waste any time. Maybe gave it a day or two. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So it's been a couple weeks, let's say, or 3.
I requested help from the embassy, but they can't help. Not in Burma and not in time.
How do you know they're alive?
Because we've been in contact with the Karen freedom fighters who say they think they know where they were taken. And
That's not really the answer to the question. Like, the Karen freedom fighters might know where they were taken, but how do we know they're alive?
Right.
Given the name of an ex-military American local from the embassy who put me in touch with men who say they have experience in this part of the world.
Mercenaries.
Yes. I don't have any other choice.
The embassy basically said to this guy who's come over here, hey, you can hire mercenaries to get your missionaries out. And the way Rambo said mercenaries. So what do you think his feelings are on mercenaries? He's not happy with them?
I don't think he likes them.
Yeah.
Mercenaries.
You know the exact spot. We need you to take these men to where you let our people off.
When are they ready to leave?
Oh, look at that. You didn't have to be told twice on this one. Rambo's ferry services are really coming in handy.
Business is booming right now.
Are they going to pay me money? I didn't get paid on the last one.
They got to pay up front. They got to pay for the other people, too.
When you are.
Aren't you going to say something?
I don't understand.
You should.
You mean a prayer?
Not for me, for them.
Why is Rambo going all religious now?
He's holding on to that cross for a couple weeks. He's starting to feel the power, I guess.
Yeah. Aren't you going to say something? Yeah, good luck.
Yes.
He tells the guy to pray.
Lord, make me your instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring love. Where there is injury, pardon.
There we go.
Where there is doubt,
lunatic.
Okay, so the guy is saying a prayer, like in the middle of the prayer, Rambo goes to make a machete.
The guy's praying for peace and love, and he's like, I'm going to go do my prayer. I'm going to go make something that I'm going to kill a lot of people with.
You might be an instrument of peace, but I'm an instrument of war.
Basically.
Yeah. Why did he throw his knife with the fire?
I still don't understand that.
Because he wouldn't be making this mega knife. If that guy came and told him, Hey, just so you know, I want to personally thank you for getting the missionaries there. They've come back safely. I just wanted to thank you for traveling with them and helping them out. When Rambo got up, I don't care. I'm still going to make this knife. It's knife making night. It doesn't make sense. He threw away the knife. Why? And then now he's like, but I'm making a bigger knife.
That's it. I'm gonna show him this time.
Where there is doubt, faith.
All right, that's actually a good place to end it. Next, this little tease there. After all that, I realized that's where the file stopped. Yeah, he's building a knife. Yeah, it's a good place to stop. Okay. Well, that was a fun episode.
We started out lighthearted, and then we took you on an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, we apologize. Let us know in the comments, or do you want us to end with Frank?
Just end with a photo of Frank working out or something.
Hey, Frank, we wish you good health. We don't want you to die just yet. Things are just getting good to you with the war between Frank and Tom Segura. Come on.
We might have cracked that code, though. We might be the first podcast to crack that code.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Was there any other podcast that cracked the Frank code?
Who is this guy?
Who is this guy? Oh, that's hilarious. Now that makes sense. That's totally what it is. Okay, that's funny. All right, well, that's it for this episode. Join us next week when we see where this knife-making scene goes to and if it's going to be used in a later sequence.
Might be.
With that, however, the episode is over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off. It wasn't my podcast. You asked me to co-host. I didn't ask you.